Welcome to Small
Mhm.
Business Chats. Today we have Ntuthuko. He's in the legal space I'm actually very curious about, that I will admit I don't know much about. So, Ntuthuko, could you please introduce yourself,
Mm.
what your business is, and as much detail as you can?
Yeah, perfect. Yes, my name is Ntuthuko Mgiba. The director and founder of Mgiba Law Inc. We're a law firm based in Centurion. We formed it about 2021, yes, towards the end of May, June. Yeah, so we're a small firm. We basically do it all kinds of matters. I think I'm privileged to have come from a very diverse background, having been at previous law firms that practiced in different sectors. So I'm now able to help people, in litigation, family matters, family law matters. What else? Deceased administration. I'm also a notary, which I can register anti-nuptial contracts. Not all lawyers can do it. Yeah, so it's an additional qualification.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of things that we provide. Yeah.
I'm going to start off by what inspired you to start your firm? What gap did you see within the legal space that you thought, okay, that'd be great to start a business in?
Yeah, perfect. So before I started my firm, I had been at about three different firms. So it's the firm I did my articles at.
Yeah.
And so articles basically is just it's like an intern process that you have to do before you become an admitted attorney. And you have to write board exams and all those funny things. So
Yeah.
I did my articles at a law firm in Centurion. Their specialty was conveyancing. And then after I got admitted, I moved to another firm in Sandton. They specialized in labor law. And then I moved to a firm in Pretoria that did mostly civil litigation and family law. So the question, coming back to your question, why did I start my own firm? I think sometimes working for people is a bit difficult, especially in the legal field, because there are certain ways that we need to interact with people. I think I'm a very understanding person. I'm a very subjective person. I'm not trying to be a certain type of character. I hear your story and I try to help you to the best of my ability. I found that a lot of the firms try to abuse the clients, regardless of their standing. If they got billions of rands, they're going to abuse them because they've got the billions of rands. And, just the way they treat clients who are less than. So I figured, no, man, I remember, if I could just give you an example, there was a client, we had a consultation, it was during COVID, we had a consultation, and then he sent me an email. I couldn't respond at that time because I was in another consultation.
Yeah.
And then the secretary told me that this guy tried to call me. I said, no, it's fine. I will call him back. I saw his email. It's very simple. I can explain to him in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Only to find out that they scheduled a consultation with him. So now they expect this guy to come back to the office, do an hour-long conversation for me to explain something to him that will take about 2 minutes, and then we're going to invoice him for an hour. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt some of the practices are very cruel, and you'll find that those clients start to complain because they like, no man, I only came for 5 minutes. You're gonna charge me a full consultation fee, and then they don't come back. So I'd rather have the client come back and also refer me or refer his people to me for work. So
Yeah.
I guess that's the gap. It's a more personal, interpersonal connection that I try to establish with people. I think it's a sort of gift that I got from, I'm not sure if it's my dad or my mom. I think it's my dad. But yeah, he's very helpful. He's a very helpful person. And that's the thing that I got from him. And the more you help someone, the more your marketing is done for you. The word
Yeah.
of mouth is very important. Yeah, so that's the I guess that's the kind of gap I chose and the reason why I started the firm. Just to be in control of how I handle clients. And
Yeah.
then also when I take in like candidate attorneys or assistants, they have someone to emulate in the future, someone that
Yeah.
treats them well and treats their clients well.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing that.
Mm.
Actually, it actually also covered the second question I had, which I was gonna ask. Legal services, like we always think they're inaccessible, and we
Mm,
always have issues trying to find you guys. You guys are expensive.
definitely.
I think I want to ask then, what are the because we're not aware sometimes of like the legalities of a certain industry or space, what mistakes do you think or do you see that small business people in general often make?
Small business people outside or outside of the law, legal space, or
Yeah, outside of the legals. In general, like what's that one thing do you see of these small business people make that get into trouble?
yeah. So I'll come from my side. Okay, first I'll come from my side as a legal business owner, small business owner. We tend to go into to open our law firms, right? But we don't know the business side of it. The business, how to run a business. All we know is legal stuff. If you come to me and you want to sue someone because he shot you, then let's go, let's do it. But we don't know, okay, once I get the money from you, how do I use this money to grow the business? With lawyers, it's always image first, right? What you see is very important. So straight away they want to go buy the cars and go look, get the best suits and everything. But
Amen.
the business is actually suffering, right? So that's something that a lot of us, I'm still learning as we go by. Luckily, I've had people around me who, give me advice and I lean to them. I'm not. It's something that I had to learn to do as an entrepreneur. Is lean
Yeah.
on your networks. These people, I mean, you can't just be going out with them every day and watching sports and talking about nonsense. But then the guy next to you has an MBA. He's got an MBA in business administration, and you have this business, and he can help you and say, no, you need to do this, you need to do that. Also, accounts. Another thing that we have issues with is because we have our trust accounts need to be audited.
Yeah.
So the bookkeeping process is also another issue because we have trust accounts, that's where our clients pay the money into. So just managing that also is a bit of a process. And so we have to get bookkeepers. We have to get people who do admin, actual admin, It's very important because if your admin is not done properly, then you can't invoice properly, right?
Yeah.
So you'll find yourself like me, who I'm in court almost every second day. And when you're in court, you're almost there for like the whole day. I mean, I was in domestic violence courts in Randburg. I literally left there at 2 o'clock, 2:30 actually, And this was last Friday. And now you must still go back to your office, which is in Centurion, and be productive. Like your whole day has been, you are strained. So you must still try to be productive in office. So whereas if you have like an assistant in the office who can do all the admin while you're gone, then you can just go home after court and work remotely. So yeah, those are the things. So a lot of the mistakes that small businesses make, I think it's separating business money from your money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
And
relate.
look, it's a mistake that we make also. I mean, that I make also. It's very
Yeah.
understandable. But separating the business, having that discipline, to give yourself a salary, even if it's 100 rand every month, but to make
Yeah.
sure that the business is liquid. Yeah, just your CI registrations. A lot of businesses. I do mentoring workshops every now and then
Yeah.
through a mentorship program. And a lot of guys have these businesses that have been running for like 2 years. They're young guys, but the businesses aren't registered, and now corporates want to side partner up with them, but they don't even have the company's not even registered, So I think it's very interesting. I mean, CIPC is usually the first step that you go. And also, a lot of people don't have actual knowledge about the field they want to go into. So if I want to open a podcast, people don't know the regulations around podcasts. I mean, I know right now there is a discussion in Parliament regarding the bill that needs to be passed, but people don't know this information. They don't know who our minister in that field is. Like they don't know. They just know what they want to do, but they don't know the actual legalities behind it. So I think
That's
that's a
so
lot of things that. But yeah, we are, the more small businesses that are coming up. I think the more workshops that we do, something like the more podcasts like yourself, this thing that you are pushing, which is very important for small businesses, because someone could be watching now and getting a bit of a lesson. Oh, okay, I didn't know. Okay, let me also do that. Let me contact this person and maybe see if he can help me. Yeah. So yeah,
so
no,
good.
it's very good.
No, that's so good, man. I didn't even know there was something being spoken about podcasting on in Parliament. That was actually I need to do that. I need to go have a look at that.
Yeah. I won't mention names, but there was, people on a certain podcast that said something about
Yeah.
someone,
Yeah.
which was very offensive. Yeah, and now it's now big talk. People want to shut them down. They want to start regulating content out there. Yeah, so it's an issue of free speech now. Are they not encroaching on people's constitutional right of free speech?
Uh, be interesting to see what the outcome that's going to be. If I can move on,
Yeah.
what's the biggest challenge that you have faced as a legal entrepreneur? And what strategies that you employ to try and overcome that one big challenge?
The biggest challenge, yeah, there's many challenges, but I think the biggest challenge is getting your payments, Payments of invoices.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge, especially if you don't have personnel that's on hand to attend to chasing clients for
Yeah.
payments. Yeah, especially from corporates, if you're on panels of certain businesses and you invoice and then they have this 30-day periods to pay your invoices, but then they don't pay it in that 30 days. And I don't think they actually understand how far that sets you back. So if I'm waiting on a 10,000 payment at month end,
Yeah.
and I know with that 10,000, I'm gonna pay my rent for the office. I'm gonna pay, maybe one or two salaries, and
Yeah.
maybe take my girl out for a date. But now that 10,000 doesn't come in at all. It doesn't come in at all. People are crying and not getting their salaries. The lease agreement is in breach now because I haven't paid my rent.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's crying because I haven't taken her out. So it impacts you in a whole lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you only get paid that 10,000 3 months later. Right. And now you've got 3 months of debt. That 10,000 comes into money. You've got 3 months of debt that you have to catch up on.
Yeah.
So I think it's the payment of invoices. And especially like I was saying before, if you are leaving court and you go home or you go back to the office to maybe drop some more summonses, pleadings, you don't have
Yeah.
time to actually invoice the person accordingly. You are tired. The next day something new comes up. I remember once I went to court, I came back, and then in that evening I had to go bail out someone at the police station, and that takes the whole night. So yeah, it's the payment of clients, I think, but that also comes with your attitude towards it also. If you are a very strict person and you say, look,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna help you or continue helping me until my invoice. Yeah. So I think that's the biggest issue I have now, but there are a lot of issues which are close to that. Yeah.
Awesome. Um,
Mm.
what's your, I always like to ask, like, what's the vision for your startup? What's the long-term goal that you are looking to achieve or you're looking to take your business into?
Yeah, perfect question. Obviously, you want your firm to be amongst the big firms in the country. All
Yeah.
right. I know a lot of my other people who were articling at the same time as I was, and they were in bigger firms.
Yeah.
I can't say that they are better lawyers than I am. They are better attorneys, they're more skilled than I am. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing that helps them is that they had a bigger law firm, which means they've got bigger resources. But when it comes to the actual technical work, I think there's nothing to say that they are better than I am. I think that, in fact, I think I have better experience because, at a bigger law firm, you are kind of like not spoon fed, but you are, helped through I mean, I was thrown into the deep end, up until now, I've been thrown into the deep end. So I've been learning how to swim. I've learned how to swim very quickly. But yeah, you want your firm to be one of the big firms. And I also want to be in a position where I can employ people, like a majority of people. I'm not sure if you're aware. I also started a foundation, a legal foundation that's going to also speak to that. Try have a clinic because the
Yeah.
biggest problem that we are encountering is students, once they get their LLB, they can't find a firm for their articles.
Yeah.
And a director of a law firm can only take 3 article clerks at a time, and you've only got 2 years. So you'll find a law firm advertising now for 2027. We're saying we're going to take our next intake of article clerks in 2027. That time you've gotten your degree 2 years ago, and now you have to wait another 2 years to
See yourself.
hopefully get an interview at this law firm. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I think we need to address a lot, especially us as the black community. These are the issues that we are facing now. Is that first hurdle of getting articles. So I want to be in a position where I can have a firm that will be able to take in a maximum amount of candidate attorneys
Yeah.
and have them stay in practice. Not a lot of us stay in practice. A lot of people go into a corporate office because of how they treated at law firms. So if they come through a nice law firm and they enjoyed the experience, they had a great mentor or mentors in that law firm and a
Yeah.
great working environment, they're gonna want to stay there or start their own law firms and try, replicate what they saw. So yeah, that's the vision. Just to have a good and a big law firm, a thriving law firm, a very competitive law firm
Oh my God.
throughout the continent, throughout the continent.
I think you can get it if you want to. You seem
Yeah,
to
yeah,
really turn into getting it. I think you should. You're small now, but doesn't
yeah.
mean you should be small forever.
Yes, sir.
I'm in the space of technology and AI a lot.
Mm.
I can only imagine how is AI impacting your work, your firm, and the industry in general?
All right. Well, I mean, I don't really. Funny enough, I had a meeting just yesterday with a company, a tech company, that's gonna trying to see how they can help with admin and everything. So I mean, it's very important. I mean, the AI aspect helps with yeah, it depends on how you use it for your law firm. So lawyers will use it for. So we get to read a lot of documents, right? A lot of documents.
Yeah.
You can add up all those books behind you. We probably read those 3 times a week. So yeah, we read a lot. And it's not just reading, you have to interpret every single thing and use it against it's because it's a lot of its application, right?
Yeah.
You have to I read a legal document. I have to use my knowledge of legislation and see, if it's in conflict with any legislation or constitutional rights or anything, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of application. So with AI, you send me this document and I just have it produce a document for me and give me all the relevant legislation or help me do summaries of it. We do a lot of legal opinions, right? So yeah, I mean, I personally don't do that. I think there was a law firm that got into trouble for putting together court documents, pleadings, and they used, I think, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So I think the magistrate was able to, yeah, the story went around. So it's frowned upon. But I think for the new guys coming into the legal space, I would tell them to avoid. I mean, you have to read the case, like if you get a
Yeah.
case document, if you have to do case research, you must read the cases because it's not only, there's certain aspects in the case that may help your case, but it's not really dealt with in the case. I'm not sure if that's making sense. So if you have a case of murder or of divorce and you're going through case studies and somewhere in that case, the judgment that was handed down, there may be something in that judgment that speaks to your case, right? But that case is not about your case, you know what I'm saying? But there's something in there that speaks to your case and you can use it and your opponent might not even know about it because, he just saw the ruling as like this one is completely different. It's not going to help his case.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's important that you just read. You get into the culture of reading. I'm not a reader myself, but I was forced to do it, and that's what I do. I read. But obviously, as you get older, as you become more senior in the game,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe you can. But I would definitely have the new guys the admin, they must know how to do the admin. They must know how to draft a document from scratch. If I say to you, drop a contract for me now, a lease agreement, you must know the requirements because in the drafting of the contract, you will know what the requirements of a valid contract are, right?
Yeah.
So you'll use those requirements in the drafting of the contract. If the contract has those essentials, then it will be a valid contract. The young guys must know how to do a draft a summons, particulars of claims, they must know how to do all the things from scratch. AI is you sort of robbing them that process, gotta know your basics, you gotta have a foundation, and
Yeah.
then later on in life, yeah, you can use that. But yeah, I think it's very resourceful. I'm not sure how far it's going to go. People are talking about will we need judges? I always think they still need a human element in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you still need a human element to it. I can't see robots and decisions being made on machines in courts. Yo, that's gonna cause a lot of issues, a lot of issues. But yeah, I think yeah, and it's funny because someone asked me recently, a friend of mine, about this AI and how it's going to impact the legal system. I don't know. I don't know. But for a small business, you can use it to your advantage, especially with things like the bookkeeping, your bank recons, the booking, the bookkeeping, the administration part. Because the more you spend on those, the less time you spend on those things, the more time you have then to market your business, to work on your legal documents, to, help more clients. So
It's
yeah,
one
definitely.
that you guys could utilize.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome, man. This is so insightful. This is the plug away section. So please tell us where to find you, how to support you, and how to get in contact with you. And what issues can we come to you for?
Mm, okay. Our website is Mgiba Law Inc. .co.za. So it's Mgiba, Mgibac. You can get hold of me personally at Ntuthuko. It's Ntuthuko. We're on all social media. You just type Mgiba Law or Ntuthuko Mgiba, you'll find me. If you just Google Ntuthuko Mgiba, you'll find me. Yes, in terms of support, I don't know, you can just give me money. That'll be great. But other than that, no, look, the support is you sending business our way. That's the best kind of support anyone can give. But other than that, like I did say, we do also have a foundation. We do various initiatives. We've just had our fourth networking event, which was very successful. So, as I said, it's a foundation. So any type of financial assistance would be great. We do intend to employ people to run the foundation. So that would be great. In terms of the firm, what services, what people can contact me for. I think, I mean, the day-to-day, not complaints, but the day-to-day issues that people face certainly are things that like divorce, people who are separating with their spouses and they need to know what the implications are of what the implication of the divorce would be. Things like maintenance, things like access to children.
Yeah.
Deceased estates is a very common one, passing of a loved one, and now they've got this big estate, or they've got this estate, and I mean they've got this that they leave behind a big estate, and they don't know how is the administration supposed to take place. That's a very big one. It's very there's a lot of disputes that happen because of this process. So we do a lot of that. What else? Litigation and yeah, labor. We do a lot of labor matters too.
Yeah.
If your boss is treating you wrong, or you've resigned because of certain issues that were happening at work, you can still take the person to CCMA on a constructive dismissal. So yeah, we do a lot of labor matters too. But I think at the end of the day, whatever issues that you guys have, just you can just drop us an email, and then we'll tell you straight away that yeah, this is what we do, and then we take it from there. I know a lot of guys say that they do practice certain things, but they don't, especially in the deceased estates situation. So it's also just a word of advice if you are looking for an attorney who, specifically for deceased estates,
Yeah.
they have to mention it on their profile. If someone says they do criminal law and there's no mention of deceased estates, then maybe you don't contact them. Because there's a lot of times where attorneys take on these matters thinking that it's going to go quickly, and they don't know what they do, so they end up just taking your file and putting it at the bottom, and then you are all frustrated and you don't know what's happening. So yeah, just be very careful of the attorneys that you do choose. But yeah, this is what we do practice. We do practice deceased estates, family litigation, family law. If you're getting married, I do international contracts. So yeah, we do international contracts. We do registrations of those. Yeah, so like I said, we do a variety of things. So yeah, people can just feel free to hit us up on any of those contact details that I just mentioned, and then we'll be able to take it from there.
Awesome, man. Thank you. This is the end.